Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Monday, April 19th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S., 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 in Bermuda, and in Mexico City it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. On this day in history, 15 years ago today, the Alfred T. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City was blown up by Timothy McVeigh. Some 168 people were killed. McVeigh was later put to death in the year 2000. We have some breaking news. This is coming from Baghdad. The Iraqi Prime Minister is saying just a short time ago that an Iraqi intelligence team has found and killed Al-Qaeda's leader in Iraq, Abu Ayyub al-Masri. Also, according to the Prime Minister, Abu Omar al-Baghdadi, who is the purported leader of Al-Qaeda's local affiliate, the Islamic State of Iraq, has also been killed. Claims like these have been made before, but they usually are not verified. We'll now go to our main news. The main news, of course, for insurance purposes, continues to be the Icelandic cloud of ash. Just before we came on, there's some indication that a couple of European airports will open later today or tomorrow. This is presenting a very interesting insurance quandary. It seems that a number of people who are purchasers of travel insurance actually will be paid. We had reported the other day that companies such as Aviva and HSBC, who did not cover the risk, now say that they will pay out. However, airlines don't have insurance for grounding planes due to natural events because such policies would be typically very expensive, so they are not going to be paid. According to Gerling in Germany, a plane crash as a consequence of a flight through ash would be 100% insured. That's obligatory insurance, but that's not going to happen because the airports have been closed. Business interruption policies are expensive, and generally airlines haven't bought them, so the full risk lies with them. Hanover reconfirmed this. They said that BI is not covered in the company's aviation policy, so no impact is expected. Unfortunately, the airlines are racking up severe losses, some several $100 million, as we'll discuss. So far, the travel industry is compensating with claims hitting about 20 million pounds, with daily costs running at 5 million pounds, but that's for individual policies taken out for trip cancellation and the like. The Air Transport Association, which represents some 230 airlines, said that at the current levels of disruption, its initial conservative estimate of the financial impact on airlines is in excess of 200 million US per day in lost revenues. They add that the airlines would be hurt further. They're going to incur further costs for rerouting aircraft, care for stranded passengers, as well as aircraft at certain airports. This is the first time that British Air is going to ground its whole 245 plane fleet. We'll talk a little bit more about British Air in a second. Not to be outdone, Munich Re announced late Friday that it may be able to offer the BI insurance needed by airlines in the future. The Munich Re spokesman said that we have the capacity and can offer airlines cover against such air traffic interruptions, such as clouds of ash or due to snowfall. They said given sufficient demand for such cover and our know-how, we could in the future help ameliorate the consequences of such interruptions for airlines. Good for Munich Re. Well, the Royal Navy is in on it now. The British sent the Royal Navy across the Channel today to rescue Britons who were stranded on the continent by the volcanic ash cloud. The Eurocontrol Air Traffic Agency in Brussels said that less than 1/3 of the flights in Europe were taking off today. That means 8,000 flights were operating out of 28,000 flights. Some of the airports in the southern tier of Europe, such as Spain, Portugal, and Italy, seem to be open. Pressure is mounting across Europe. Airlines are beginning to bang on the doors of civil aviation authorities The civil aviation authorities in Europe are holding a conference call right now to see what steps need to be taken toward opening the airspace. The chief executive of the International Air Transport Association said it's embarrassing and a European mess. It took us 5 days to organize this conference call. There are 750,000 people stranded all over. Does that make any sense? Well, here's why it makes sense. Western military sources said today that several NATO F-16 fighters that flew through the ash cloud had indeed suffered engine damage, evidence that the danger from the cloud is very real. Glass-like deposits were found inside the plane's engines. In London, Brown, the Prime Minister, said that the aircraft carrier Ark Royal and the HMS Ocean would be sent across to France and Holland to pick up British personnel. A third ship is being sent to Spain to pick up returning British military people coming from Afghanistan. Meanwhile, back at the source in Iceland, scientists are saying that the condition might be easing, saying that they have now noticed a red glow at the bottom of the volcano, suggesting that the eruption is turning to lava flow, and that there is less ice in the crater, which would reduce the plume. A geologist at the Icelandic Weather Office said that we haven't seen that before. Meanwhile, British Air, which is losing all the money, as is everybody else, has said that it has asked the European Union and the UK government for financial compensation for the closure of airspace. BA said other airlines had also done the same thing, and they said that there was precedent for this after the closing of American airspace after the September 11th attacks. BA estimates that they're losing up to £20 million a day. Willie Walsh, a favorite of British employees, British Airlines employees, I might add, said that this is an unprecedented situation that is having a huge impact on customers and airlines alike. We continue to offer as much support as we can. Yesterday, BA ran a 2.5-hour test flight out over the Atlantic to assess any engine damage caused by the ash. Data from that flight is still being analyzed, but analysts are expecting that BA is going to claim that it's safe to fly later on today. Gordon Brown said that the European Solidarity Fund is designed to provide aid to EU members hit by natural disasters, and that would likely be the source for any compensation for businesses hit by the disruption. Good luck. Well, Goldman Sachs, boy, is that causing reverberations around the financial world. They have now managed to prompt some hope from insurers. A wave of lawsuits led by banks, insurance companies, investors could follow the Securities and Exchange Commission charges against Goldman. This is according to the FT. Those companies, banks and insurers, are thought to have lost hundreds of billions of dollars on risky bets backed by subprime mortgages, collateralized debt obligations. The FT story says that numerous cases have already been filed relating to losses on the CDOs. On Friday, of course, we announced that the SEC had accused Goldman Sachs of fraud for failing to disclose in 2007 that a hedge fund that they had created to be backed by subprime mortgages was in fact bet against it by Goldman. Goldman denied those charges and said that they're going to vigorously contest them. Shares rose in insurance companies that had to cover such CDOs, such as AMBAC, MBIA, bond insurers, and AIGs, because the idea would be, of course, that if Goldman is found to be guilty of this, perhaps the losses incurred by the insurance companies would have been deemed fraudulent. Everybody's in on the act. Here is today's FT's front page. It's talking about how Prime Minister Gordon Brown, pictured here, in fact, in the midst of his campaign for re-election, accused Goldman of committing a moral outrage. Not to be outdone, President Obama expects to be in New York City on Thursday, where he's going to be pushing hard for reform of the financial sector. Just as a side note, over the weekend, former President Bill Clinton was interviewed on one of the morning TV shows. He said that when he woke up on Friday morning, he gave the chances of passage of the financial reform bill a 60% chance. By the time he went to sleep, knowing what he knew about the Goldman fraud indictment, he said the chances were up to about 100%. I think he's